Hey guys, welcome back to Loft Sports. It's Tyler coming at you with a quick video, kind of doing a dual threat here, recapping the USF win and previewing the Florida State game. Sorry for the delay in the videos. The Wake Forest game, as you know, got postponed, and I wasn't able to get the USF video done, so I figured I'd just do a combination and do both of them at the same time. Quick recap of the South Florida game. Notre Dame did exactly what a good team should. I got to be honest, I expected a little better opposition from South Florida. Man, they've really regressed since a couple years ago when they were a 9 or 10 win football team. They're totally rebuilding, new coaching staff down there. They looked awful. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. I thought they'd have a little more skill on the outside, position players, and they just didn't look like a very competent football team. Be interesting to see where they finish the year when it's all said and done. But this is what Notre Dame should have done. Regardless of what you think South Florida is or could be, Notre Dame shut them out, and that's all you can do when you play somebody that's an inferior team is beat the crap out of them, and we did that. We didn't give up a single point. We absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. We actually ran the football when we wanted to. Book had guys running wide open. Defense played lights out, got turnovers, got sacks. Their quarterbacks were obviously not very good at passing the ball. We dared them to throw, and they just couldn't do it. So, kudos to Notre Dame. Book played pretty well. I'll give credit where credit is due. I'm usually pretty hard on Book. Now, he still missed some layups. He missed a couple throws in that game that just, don't expect him to be perfect. He's, nobody's perfect. Trevor Lawrence isn't perfect. NFL quarterbacks aren't perfect. But those layups, when guys are coming across the middle wide open, you're going to get that chance against South Florida, and if you miss it on second down, chances are it'll still be there on third down. You can keep the drive alive. You get later in the year and you're playing Clemson, you're playing North Carolina, you're playing a stingy Pitt defense. Those opportunities, those windows of opportunities aren't going to be there all the time. You miss that wide open throw on first down, 2 plays later, you're probably punting the football. So want to see him clean that up a little bit, but I'll give Ian credit. He played a pretty good game. He didn't look rattled in the pocket. When it wasn't there, he didn't panic. He didn't go backwards. He stepped up. He either threw it away or he ran for 4 or 5 yards, kept the chains moving. All right, let's talk about Florida State. What a crazy year this is already with the whole COVID thing. I was born in 1991. I'm just going to say this. I'm not trying to troll Florida State fans if you find your way onto this channel. This is the worst, by far, Florida State team I have ever seen. When I was younger, I would even go as far as to say Florida State was kind of my second favorite team. I used to like watching them play when Bobby Bowden was there. They were dominating in the 90s and in the early 2000s when I was just kind of really starting to fall in love with college football. They always have a talented team, even when they're not as good. 2 years ago, they came to South Bend. I was a little nervous about that game. Florida State always brings some skill players. They're one of the top 10, 15 talented rosters year in and year out, kind of like a Southern Cal or Texas or Miami. Even when they're not really good and dominating like you're used to seeing, they still have good players. My God, they do not have a good football team this year. They were losing 21-7 at home to something called Jacksonville State, which is a middle-of-the-road FCS team on Saturday. Just getting dominated on both sides of the ball for a half against an inferior second-level FCS team. I mean, they are not good. If Notre Dame does not beat them by at least 30, probably even 40 points, that's going to raise some eyebrows about whether or not Notre Dame is really a serious contender for the playoff. Again, I'm not trying to troll Florida State here, but they are just not what we normally see from them. Even in the years since Jimbo Fisher left, they've been down. They've been a 6 or 7 win team. I would not be surprised if Florida State in this 11-game season only wins 2 or 3 games. And again, I'm not trying to troll Florida State fans. Their quarterbacks do not look good. They're getting pushed off the ball. Miami made them look like a JV team. And, Georgia Tech is completely rebuilding, and Georgia Tech moved the ball up and down the field on them week 1. If it wasn't for several missed field goals and turnovers in the red zone, Georgia Tech would have blown Florida State out. So, again, this is normally a game I'd be a little more leery of. This should be an absolute beating. This game should be over at half. Ian Book should have his way with this defense. We should run all over them. And their offense, from what I've seen in them in 3 games, they shouldn't even cross the 50 until our mop-up guys come in the game. I mean, I'm not trying to troll Seth on this one, but I think Nebraska would beat Florida State by 2 or 3 touchdowns. And again, Florida State, normally a dominant upper echelon program for the majority of my 29 years on this planet. I think, again, they might be a bottom 10 Power 5 team. They're down there with the Oregon States, the Rutgers, the Illinois and Kansases of the world. They just don't look good at all. They don't look competent. Something has gone totally awry. Mike Norvell has come in its first year. The cupboard was bare. Willie Taggart must have just been that bad of a coach that whatever talent was there has just completely evaporated. So this game should be a laugher. Notre Dame should be rolling. It should be out of question by halftime, certainly in the third quarter. I expect the running game to look good. I expect every aspect of the game to be Notre Dame dominating. If Notre Dame, any good team, any reasonably good team, would blow Florida State out. Not just Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, those teams. Miami is looking like a better team than I gave them credit for early in the year. But even the middle-of-the-road teams like, Virginia Tech, Virginia, those teams are going to beat Florida State easily. This should be no contest, which feels weird to say that about Notre Dame-Florida State game, but the Irish should dominate. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll be back at you next week once the game is over with a recap. Thank you guys so much. This is Tyler with Loft Sports signing off. Go Irish.